Camera flashes are indispensable tools. Having one in your bag can make the difference between getting the job done and not getting the picture. That's why I almost always bring a flash gun. And my flash gun of choice is 99% of the time the Nikon SB-800 because of three very distinctive traits. First and foremost, it offers a great user experience and is of very high build quality. Second, its technical performance is good, not to say even excellent, for most scenarios. And third, the unit itself is highly compatible. I can put it on my newest Nikon DSLRs, but also on my film cameras, like the Hasselblad 500 CM. Yes, you've heard me right. It even works with a Hasselblad 500 CM. But more about that in this review. The Nikon SB-800 was introduced in 2003 as a professional flash for the back then high-end Nikon cameras. It remained top of the line until succeeded by the SB-900. What makes this flash so special compared to other units is that it is very, very compact and the build quality is really excellent. The buttons, the display, all mechanisms just feel very well made and are a pleasure to operate. I bought my first SB-800 16 years after it came out, so in 2019. And I thought it would be interesting to travel back in time and see how it would be for you as a customer to open a brand new SB-800. Because this really tells us a lot about how Nikon conceptualized the product and the experience for the consumer back then. So this is the Nikon SB-800 in its original packaging. Opening up the box, it reveals warranty papers, but also a printed manual. I love that. This is not a short version of a manual where you can download like the full version on the internet, like it's very common nowadays, but a full product manual with all the accessories, all the compatibility things, all the settings. This is really awesome. I love to have that. It is really cool to look at paper and not having to print out the manual yourself or scrolling through the web pages. Love that. Manufacturers should still do that. Nikon went above and beyond with the SB-800 because they also included a little booklet with example images. And the cool thing is that they described various scenarios and how to use the flash. They even included the camera used, the lens used, the settings, everything. That is really cool. And it really hypes you up for the product and for using the product. Again, that's a thing manufacturers should still do today. I love that as well. So now the flash itself. The flash itself comes with this nylon pouch. But this is not only a nylon pouch, but a clever nylon pouch, as it has small compartments for all the accessories that come with the SB-800. So this is the SB-800 itself. I'll talk about it in a minute. On the bottom is the diffuser, a SW10H, and it has some little knobs in here that kind of let the flash know when it's attached, so that the motor can zoom the head to the proper position for this accessory. That's very cool. Then there is also the AS19, which is a mount for putting the flash on flat surfaces, and it also includes a tripod screw, so that's cool. And it's made of hard, sturdy plastic. Really feels solid. The next cool accessory that comes with the SB-800 is this little battery compartment called the SD-800. And this battery compartment attaches to the side of the SB-800 and extending the battery capacity. Usually the SB-800 has 4 AA batteries in there. With this accessory it has 5. Very neat. And this accessory is also quite something. It's just a small plastic case with 2 color filters, one for tungsten and one for fluorescent light. So the cool thing is, if you shoot with flash and there is tungsten light in the room, you'll essentially have 2 different color temperatures, and by putting like this orange foil over it, the flash will be at the same color temperature as the tungsten light or the fluorescent light. That's very good for post-production and also adds a more natural look. So while this is really cool that Nikon included that, and yeah, I really appreciate that, the filters themselves are not of high quality. That's wrong. They are of high quality, but their design is not very good. They fold along this edge and they tend to kind of flap up a little bit and not cover the flash head properly. So yeah, not the best design, but it is really awesome that Nikon included it. That all came with the SB-800. Okay, now let's take a look at the SB-800 itself. As I mentioned previously, it is really well built. And when turning it on, you can hear a little hum and you immediately see the display light up. So this is a very sharp LCD display. The contrast can be adjusted and everything. And what I also really like is that this green backlight is very convenient, especially in dark indoor scenarios, and it's very good and clear to read. With the flash head in this position, it displays the effective flash range, in this case 0.7 to 7.6 meters. That's super convenient, because in some shooting scenarios it can happen that you get too close to your subject or too far away and end up with an underexposed shot. So another great feature. So this is the diffuser pane and a little bounce card, and another very thoughtful thing, on the bounce card are all the custom settings described. So there are only so many buttons on the SB-800, so for certain functions you have to press a combination of buttons, and they are all printed on there, so you can't actually forget them and you don't have to memorize them. Very convenient. The Nikon SB-800 is a quite powerful flash. With a guide number of 38 at ISO 100 and 35mm, it is able to properly expose a subject which is as far as 6.7 meters away, with the lens set to f5.6. That is quite something. Regarding the recharge or recycle times of the SB-800, there is not much to say about them. They are quite average. What I really like about it is that when you add the extra AA battery with the SD-800, things get quite a bit faster. Another cool feature, or better lack of feature, of the SB-800 is that it doesn't have overheating protection. Meaning that you can fire this flash until it literally blows up. That seems a little bit strange to name as a positive, but it really is. Imagine being in a wedding scenario where some decisive moment is about to happen and then the flash stops firing because it's too hot. You'd rather risk blowing the flash up than not getting the shot. Talking about flash modes, the SB-800 has them all. TTL, manual mode, aperture priority, red eye, first curtain, rear curtain sync, also this focal plane synchronization, which is another term for high-speed synchronization, so you can shoot with 1/25th or faster shutter speeds and still get proper flash exposure. So yeah, it's all there. The Nikon SB-800 does it all. What I do a lot when working with flash is making use of the flash value lock. I'm gonna demonstrate that really quick. On my Nikon D800, I've got this function button down there programmed for flash value lock. To make use of this feature, I just point my camera at the subject, press flash value lock. The camera fires a flash just to measure the light and exposure and stores it internally. Now I can recompose the shot and get many different shots and perspectives with the same flash exposure. That's super convenient because usually the flash exposure would change because of the elements in the frame change as well. So that's really cool. And one thing that is even more impressive, I can even change the aperture and the camera adjusts the flash output accordingly. Another interesting feature of the SB-800 is that it can be used as a wireless flash as well. It is then triggered optically and you can either set the flash output manually, so you can include the SB-800 in any studio flash setup you already have, but you can also use it in conjunction with Nikon cameras that support the creative lighting system, and that's actually every camera from 2003 until today. And by using the CLS, the flash output is controlled automatically. That's a little bit magic. It works really well in practice. Compatibility is a real strength of the SB-800. It can be categorized in 3 groups. The first group includes all cameras that are capable of the Nikon iTTL flash metering method. And those are all cameras produced from 2003 up to now. This includes cameras like the Nikon F6, the Nikon D2X, but also the Nikon D800 and the Nikon Z9. So really all Nikon cameras which use this system are fully compatible with the SB-800. The second category is a little bit different. Those are cameras that use other TTL metering systems. For example, the Nikon F5, the Nikon FM3A, and even the Nikon F3. The SB-800 is downwards compatible with these cameras, so it supports their TTL metering. And the third category is quite something. I mentioned in the beginning of the video that this camera is even compatible with a Hasselblad 500 cm. And that is because of one very special trait. The SB-800 has a little sensor in front for measuring the light. This means that aperture and ISO can be set in the flash unit, as well as the focal length, of course, and the flash then automatically measures the light and calculates the flash output. And this works with every film camera and every other manufacturer's digital or analog camera. Many modern flashes don't have this feature because the manufacturers want to save cost and not include this sensor. But the SB-800 has that, and this means that I can bring the SB-800 and mount it on my Leica M4P, my Hasselblad 500cm, my Nikon F2, my Nikon F, and still get accurate flash metering. Of course, it is not as good as iTTL or the TTL found in the other Nikon cameras I've just mentioned here, but it is there and it works, and it's better to have it than to have to calculate guide numbers manually. Only two other flashes offer the same features as the SB-800, and those are the SB-900 and SB-910 by Nikon. They are bigger and heavier and also more expensive. This leaves the Nikon SB-800 in a very interesting spot. It is a high-end professional flash gun offering awesome features, durability and user-friendliness at an unbeatable price. If you are looking for a flash, I would recommend getting a Nikon SB-800. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing on YouTube and following me on Instagram. See you next time.